Hi everyone, I am DeFi Dude. I'm not just a Twitter AI. I actually exist. So a little bit about me, myself, my background. I first got into Bitcoin when it was like I think $100 was like the first Bitcoin I purchased. But again, this was like before I realized that there was any possible investment aspect to it, that it might be worth buying this just to hold on to. So I kind of missed the boat on that. I was associated with Bitcoin on and off for the next few years. But once again, I didn't see the true value in the technology. I mainly saw it as a currency that you could send, and it can't be replaced or taken back like on PayPal or credit cards. So I thought that was very interesting and cool. And then it was early 2017 when a friend mentioned Ethereum to me. And that's kind of when I put two and two together. I kind of realized, there's more to this than just sending a currency back and forth. And I thought that was really cool, that there is some kind of technology behind this that, goes beyond that. And so that's kind of when I really deep dived into this whole blockchain thing was early 2017. It was a friend that mentioned Ethereum to me. And so I kind of just was like, I was mainly on Reddit. I was never on Twitter. I was never on any other crypto social media website. So I mainly just spent pretty much all day, every day, browsing Reddit on crypto stuff. I, I mean, I wasn't working at the time. I was employing myself because of the great bull run. So I had lots of time to spend hours and hours every day just researching this stuff. Uh, and I think it was at the end of 2017 or early 2018. I was on the Kyber Network um, subreddit, and I was being a little critical. I remember, like, on the token use case itself, and so I had made a post, and someone made a nice reply, and I was replying. We were kind of getting back and forth, and then it turns out that was actually Dennis, who is part of the Kyber team, and he sent me a message and he was like, hey, this type of critical stuff, like we look for that on Telegram, like you should join. And I had never used Telegram. I thought, Telegram's pointless. It's just all for crypto projects. I mean, that's it. Why bother? But anyway, I ended up joining, and I got pretty close to Dennis. I don't know if you guys have seen me at the past events. Me and Dennis generally um, have gone together to those, and he, real great guy. He's the one that I have to thank for getting me involved on Twitter and with all of you guys. Otherwise, I'd probably still be on Reddit, just trolling around and um, browsing. But as far as my background now, I do some community work with Kyber. I've got Chicago DeFi, there that I help run, that we've got some meetups for them. We actually had one planned for March, but we ended up rescheduling it because of the corona. So I think this next meetup we're actually going to have a virtual one, which is great because then people like you guys are able to join too, even though you're not from Chicago. So stay tuned for that. As far as that, I do run the ETH Network Discord. What we do with that is every 2 weeks we have community calls. Now these calls are kind of what Interspace first planned on being, kind of like a unconference almost. No one, I do have an agenda, but like it's not that I want that. It's just a lot of people oftentimes don't come with subjects, but basically it's a call so everyone can get together. We can talk about what's gone on in the past 2 weeks, what's happening in DeFi and Ethereum and everything. So it's been real great. We've had, I think, 6 or 7, if not more, calls. A lot of great people, a lot of great discussion. This is on our Discord. So the next one is this Sunday, I believe, at 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can stay up to date on that on my Twitter, otherwise on the Discord itself. And I'm actually going to screen share here I got 20 minutes on this time slot. So I'm going to just show the Discord quick on my screen. I can figure it out. All right, can you guys see my screen? Okay. Can anyone just confirm that everything's good on my end?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Perfect. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Discord. A lot of projects have been moving to Discord, which I find is great. I think it's way better than Telegram. So this is the Discord. Once you join in, we've got this fancy little robot. Basically, you can just react according to what you are, what interests you in the space right now. So on this section over here, we've got some news. So this automatically pushes relevant news in the space. You got DeFi gaming, just so people can kind of keep up to date if they don't have another source. But as far as like the meeting, so anytime we have a meeting, it's always in this voice channel here for meeting. Believe it or not, I've actually had a lot of people that they don't even know how to like join a voice channel. So it's really just as easy as clicking meeting and then you're in the call. So I would love to have you guys in the future. We generally average, I think, 10 to 20 people, I think, per call. But some great discussion, great stuff. And the Discord itself is open. We don't have a lot of activity. It's mainly for these community meetups or meetings. So I'm always welcome. If you have anything you ever want to push, you can feel free to talk about it in the Discord and stuff. And yeah, I'm also, if anyone else wants to like get involved too, as far as like kind of helping with these meetups, maybe, coming with some agenda or just kind of helping, overall, definitely would love to have you help out. Cause as of right now, it's just me. I'm kind of doing it all. And, a lot of times I'm so busy where I don't have a full agenda. So, some of the time we're just kind of like shooting off random topics, which is okay, but would definitely be awesome to have someone else that would be interested in helping. As far as like the future of this Discord, I mean, I would like it similar to, as we know with Corona and stuff, a lot of people are moving towards virtual, at least this year, for like virtual conferences and stuff. So like, I think it would be really cool to set up maybe a hub or something for ETH Network, something a little more than just, a Discord voice. I mean, it gets the job done, but again, like it feels more involved. And, I kind of like that aspect when you're actually like roaming around, like in crypto voxels and stuff. So definitely putting thought into, what I can do with the Discord in the future. And again, if you're not in the Discord, you can just find it on my Twitter at DeFi Dude. The links, I think, in my bio. So that's pretty much with ETH Network. Very basic Discord, but got a lot going there. So let me. All right. So other than that, we've got I talked about the Chicago DeFi. I'm running some meetups. I know Chicago doesn't really have a huge following for Ethereum. But again, if for some reason any of you are near Chicago, or even if you're not and you would like to maybe have your project shown during one of our meetups, or you want to get involved in any way with Chicago DeFi, you can feel free to do that. I would love to collaborate with some of you guys on that. So I mean, really, that's all I got. I just kind of wanted to show ETH Network, the Discord itself. Did anyone have like maybe any questions or anything for me as far as my background or who I am, what I'm doing, etc.? Okay. Otherwise, we do have some open discussions. So I wasn't sure. We have one open discussion. It's for security and DeFi. Discussing just the general security around DeFi itself. Then we also had another open discussion on comparing, centralized finance to decentralized finance. However, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think I'm going to mash it up into one discussion because someone wanted to give a talk as well. So with that, I think I'll let him talk because, let me see, I think he can go on Yeah, I'll have him present, and then after he's done with that, we can follow up with the open discussion for the rest of the House of Defiance session. I just got to get him. It'll be just a minute here. Well, if he's not here, we'll just start with some open discussion instead. I'm not really sure how many people are going to get involved with the discussion. But I guess, yeah, so security and DeFi, a lot of us, know, as we've seen, it would be yesterday, as well as during ETH Denver with the BZX flash loans. DeFi is not perfect. It does have some issues. I guess, well, maybe not issues, just things we kind of got to work out. And so someone pulled it on Twitter, and I thought it was a great, analogy kind of thing. Well, we bring up a lot of DeFi Legos, right? They all work together very great, but are we sure it's not like DeFi Jenga, right? So with DAI, for example, if you pull out that one brick, is everything going to collapse? And that's one of the, risks with DeFi, the security, because there is so much dependence on DAI and some of these, big DeFi projects, that it is more like Jenga than Legos, because we are relying on these to work. So if DAI was to collapse or MakerDAO was to, emergency shut down and stuff, a lot of this DeFi, it would either just go very, very bad or just stop working in general. And not all of it, but a lot of it would. And there is a lot of dependence on these other DeFi protocols. So I think, the more we can kind of figure out how to, remove this reliance, if it's even possible, I mean, I think that would be wonderful. And as far as security, one of the other big points I wanted to touch on too was just like that, the admin keys. I know Chris Black on Twitter, he kind of has pushed a lot about that recently. But if you aren't aware, so a lot of these DeFi protocols, they have their smart contracts, they have an admin key registered to it. And it works differently in different DeFi projects, exactly what permissions that admin key has. But a lot of them, that admin key has full permissions to, in some cases, like wipe out the entire pool of funds or, pause the entire protocol. There's a lot of permissions that these admin keys have. And it's almost worrisome because, normally you would be like, say you want a loan or you want to lend money, you would be relying on a centralized entity. However, if you want to go to Compound, well, that's great. And because now it's decentralized. But if the entire protocol can be taken down or, governed with that one admin key, well, you're really still trusting that one entity, except instead of it being a huge multi-million-dollar company, it's now some guy that you don't even know who's running a crypto project. You don't even know how he created the key, how secure it is, where it's stored, or if this guy's even trustworthy. And so I used Compound as an example, but really it's just any DeFi project that has this admin key. And I know Compound has moved towards, or they will be moving towards their own governance with the governance token. And so a lot of projects, like, they realize that the reliance on these admin keys and how big of a deal it is if we want true decentralization. So, there is work being done in removing these keys, and I think that's great. Like Compound, for example, they have the governance token. With MakerDAO, they have removed they added a 24-hour time lock on the admin key, I believe. So anytime like it needs to be used or someone wants to use it, they have to wait 24 hours, I believe. And Chris Black, somewhere, I think it might be on his website that he made. Otherwise, it could be found on his Twitter, I'm sure. But it lists all these projects on a spreadsheet, tells you what admin key, which projects have admin keys, which projects don't, what permissions that admin key has. So if, security and DeFi interests you, definitely check out what Chris Black is doing in that end, because he has a lot of information on that. And the counter argument to, relying on these admin keys, I'm not super against the admin keys this early on, like Chris might be. Of course, the admin keys, they remove the true decentralized aspect, I guess, one would say. However, I think that because we're so early on, some of these projects, it would be very risky not to have an admin key. You might get some hate from decentralized fanboys on Twitter, but at the same time, would you rather do that, or would you rather potentially risk, your whole protocol being compromised or exploited, all of the funds drained, and you can't do anything about it? And I mean, again, that's kind of what we want with crypto, is the fact that you can't do anything about it, because that removes the trust, right? But because we're so early on, I think that we should be, more worried about building these protocols, projects, making sure they're fully built out, and are working exactly how we want them to be, before really saying, all right, let's push everything out, remove all of our access, and hope things go well and continue to build onto it. Because, like I said a million times now, we are so early. There are so many exploits that we have yet to see. There's so many things that, like the flash loans, right? No one would have expected that. There were two variations of the flash loan exploit hack. One of them was more due to like bad coding or an actual exploit, I believe. And the other one was more just because, any whale could have technically done that. So the one that any whale could have technically done, like that existed for so long, and we didn't know about that. We didn't think about that. And that's just, one example of, there are possible future exploits that we can't even take into consideration until they happen, because we don't know what they are, what they'll be. So, I think definitely a lot of work to be put into security for DeFi. More auditing, I think, is very important too. There is, auditors available and auditing tools and stuff, but again, there's hundreds of millions of dollars put behind these contracts. So I think really getting security down and auditing would be very beneficial to DeFi. So if anyone has any comments or anything they want to add as far as like security on DeFi, please feel free to chime in.